Well, if you're new to Life Point, I'd love to just take a moment to welcome you here. My name is Nate. It's an honor to serve as the lead pastor along with our incredible team. And we mean that. We're so grateful to have you. And today it's really a monumental moment for our church. And I want to just explain, if you're a first-time guest, what you're about to experience. So over the last 25 months, we've been on a spiritual journey together through an initiative called Kingdom Builders. Really, this has been all about building ministry for kingdom impact. Sure, the tangible result of our generosity has been a physical building, but it's really bigger than that. It's kingdom building. And so over the last 25 months, families just like yours and mine have been giving over and above their regular giving to help fund and support everything that you see going on the backside of our building that we're excited on December the 21st to move into. And so today, we've come to give our final lap expansion offering, an offering that we do every year. It's the one time a year where I ask everybody to prayerfully consider giving a one-time gift over and above your regular giving. 100% of this offering today is going to go towards the future. Now, if you're new to Life Point, you're like looking for the exit doors. You're like, I picked the wrong Sunday, man. It's Giving Sunday. Some of you like finally got your friend to come, but because you don't read the e-news, you forgot that it's Giving Sunday. All right, listen, don't check the exits. Here's what I want you to know. In a moment, at the end of my message, you're going to see the church in motion. And I think you couldn't have picked a better Sunday to be at Life Point because you're going to see what this church is all about, the heart of generosity of this house. So in that moment, in a few minutes here, when people are moving around the room, if you're new, there is no pressure for you to get up and move. Matter of fact, you being here, this is your gift to us. Everything that you're about to see happen in these boxes at the altar at the end of my message was with you in mind. So you picked a great weekend to be here because we're doing this for you. But today, we've got to finish the race. We got to finish what we started. When I was thinking about this idea of finishing the race, my mind automatically went to the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Now, I was, 9 years old at the time. I don't remember this live, but I do remember this one particular story. There was a decorated track star from Britain named Derek Redmond. Derek Redmond was the fan favorite to win the gold medal in the track and field event, the 400-meter dash. Now, if you're not a track star, you've never ran track in your life, let me explain to you the 400-meter. Most track people who run track will say that it's like the most excruciating race that you can pick. It's the death race. Why? Because it's just one lap around the track. That's 400 meters. So basically, from the moment that the gun goes off, you are in an all-out sprint, heart redlining, cross the finish line, throw up, and then fall over like you're dead. That's the 400 meter. Now, I've never ran track in my life, but my wife in high school in Tennessee was actually a really good track star, and she agreed that she ran the 400. It's horrific. And so this was his event, 1992 Barcelona Olympics. The reason why this story caught so much attention in the local news was because 4 years prior, Derek Redmond was supposed to run in Seoul, Korea. But during his training, he popped his Achilles. So he had to withdraw from the race. So now this was like redemption. 4 years have passed, surgeries, rehab, grind, building his way back, earning his way to the top. This was his moment to go for gold. So he lines up in the qualifying round. He's in his box. The gun goes off, and boy, he hits that first 200 meters, and he's looking good. Smooth, calm, collective, in pace, right out in front, turns. The next turn begins to even turn it up a little bit. Now, for perspective, the world record for men in the 400 meter, 42 seconds, okay? Most Olympic athletes are coming in right around 46 to 47. At the gym that I go to, when they program a 400 meter run around the building, it takes me 2 minutes. Which doesn't really say much other than these athletes are in a category all on their own. So he comes around the final turn. He's in the lead. He's hitting a great stride. He has the finish line in front of him when all of a sudden he feels a pop. And he knows when the excruciating pain followed that he had torn his hamstring. Falls down to the ground. Now at this point, most track athletes, if you tear a hamstring in the middle of a race, it's so excruciating, you're not getting up. They're gonna have the team come over, put you on the golf cart, they're gonna carry you away. But not Derek Redmond. He was determined to finish the race. He waves off one race official, stands back up, and with his one good leg begins to hobble the final 200 meters. When all of a sudden, this happened.
And look at this. He's going to try to finish his semifinal race. The British have a certain tradition of running, which you have to respect.
A bizarre finish to this first semifinal in the men's 400 meters. Derek Redmond of Great Britain pulled up with an injury halfway down the backstretch. He's fighting off those trying to help him to finish the race in his lead. And now the pain too much. Swelling throughout Olympic Stadium as Redmond, with assistance this time, approaches the finish line he had wanted so desperately to reach. That is the Olympic spirit.
Out of the stands comes down and helps his boy finish. Like what is it about people? I said there's no thing as God or Jesus can't be God, then you will have to repay back every error in those books that you've ever committed, separated from him in a place called hell. That's why the only right answer to this question is I surrendered my life to the lordship of Jesus. I gave my life to you. I received this grace by faith, and I followed you, Jesus. If I could be so bold today, some of you should not be worried about a DNF, did not finish, asterisk next to your name, because right now you have a DNS, did not start. You have never confessed Christ for yourself. You've never bent your knee to the lordship of Jesus and repented of your sin and stood in the waters of baptism, declaring his death, burial, and resurrection. That's the most important decision that you could do today. Church, it is why there's urgency in my voice right now. It is also why we are having one more baptism of this year. Coming up on December the 21st in our grand opening service, we're gonna baptize people. And if you've been delaying this, I would tell you, do not put off the next year what you know you need to do in this year. And stand in those waters of baptism like thousands have, declaring his death. That's why we take you underwater. Just like you're dying to the old woman, dying to the old man, we bring you up out of that water that represents new life in Christ. Have that moment so you're prepared for that day. What did you do with Jesus? Now, what a lot of believers don't realize is that there's still going to be a judgment for believers. Now, if you pass the first question, which is the one that I just gave to you, and you're a follower of Christ, we too are going to be held accountable, but this is a different kind of judgment. There's two judgments. Look what Paul says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. Here's the second judgment. Paul says, for we must all, everyone say all. Now remember, Paul's writing to a group of believers, so he's talking about Christians. We must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each of us may receive what is due us for the things done while in the body, whether good or bad. So at the judgment seat of Christ, which is different than the great white judgment throne, the question that you're gonna be asked is, what did you do with what God gave you? What did you do with what God gave you? Every believer is gonna be asked this question by God within 60 seconds after you die. And the first judgment is about grace. The second judgment is about works. Now, do not miss what I'm saying. Our works, our salvation is not a result of our works, but our works will be a result of our salvation. Are you with me? So we are saved by grace through faith. I didn't do that. I didn't earn it. I receive it by faith. I receive the great grace of God. But the moment you start following Jesus, like you're gonna wanna do things for the kingdom. Like God's gonna give you spiritual gifts. Your life's gonna produce fruit. There is a work for you. It's why James, the brother of Jesus, says that faith without action is dead. Don't tell me you love Jesus when you got no action. So our lives are gonna produce something. Jesus even talked about this, Matthew chapter 16. Paul's not making this up. Paul's echoing the words of Jesus. Matthew 16, verse 27. Jesus said, for the Son of Man is gonna come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they've done. Now, this is fascinating to me. Like, I used to think, okay, like I'm gonna get to heaven, and I'm gonna get in. Like, I know I'm gonna get in, but like God's gonna beat me up a little bit first. Anybody feel this way? You know, like God's gonna take me into like this IMAX movie theater screen, and it's gonna be like me, my mom, my dad, my grandma, and Jesus. And then I'm gonna have for the next like 3 hours watch every sin I've ever committed on the big screen. And God's gonna be like, that's where you hit your brother in the nose with a baseball bat and you lied about it. That's when you were 12 and stole cigarettes out of your mom's purse. That's when you first looked at porn. That's when you stole at Walmart and got arrested. All those things are true, by the way. And so like after the real, like God would be like, all right, let him in, you know. And I'd be like halfway melting from hell, but I'd get to go in. Anybody else? Am I the only one? All right, just a moment of confession, man. But apparently, that's not the case. No. The judgment seat of Christ for the believer is not for God to reprimand you. Watch this. It's for God to reward you. The word in Greek for reward is apodidomai. It literally means to pay back. So it's this idea that God is gonna pay you and I back for all the things that we did to help build his kingdom while on this earth. This is not reprimanding, this is a reward ceremony. The image that I have in my mind is almost like God is waiting for you to get there. And he's like, they're here. She's here. Angels, come here. He's here. The one that I was telling you about, the one that was building the kingdom, using their time, talent, and treasure, and loving people, and sharing the gospel, and leveraging the resources, for the one more. They're here. And God in front of the angels is somehow gonna reward you for how we lived on this earth. It's a reward ceremony. And so the question again is, what did you do? What did you do with what God has given you? What are you doing with what God has given you? Because my fear as a pastor is that I think a lot of us are living under this mentality called one day win. I think if Satan had a soundtrack, that'd be one of the songs on the record, trying to get you to believe one day win. Well, I'm in high school, Nate. Like, I don't got much now. One day when I get to college, hey, when I graduate and I get the job, when I get the better job, when these kids are out of the house and I'm an empty nester, we got a little more fluid, liquid cash, then I'll tithe, then I'll honor God. I'll have more time, then I'll serve. When I know more about the Bible, then I'll share my faith. One day win. But that's not what he's talking about. God is not gonna hold you accountable for one day win. He's gonna hold you accountable for what are you doing with what God's given you today. Today is that one day. And here's the answer. Here's the answer. It's this right here. It's, God, I just gave my life away. Everything I had, every season of my life, Lord, I viewed my life with an open hand mentality. It doesn't belong to me, it belongs to you. You're the owner, I'm the manager. So God, every opportunity, God, my answer, my position of my heart was yes. So I just stepped in obedience. I said yes. If you want me to give something away, I would give it away. I can't take it with me anyways. I would share faith with people in my life. God, I gave my life away. That's the answer. Have you ever met somebody who was like actively giving their life away? It's amazing when somebody actually has an eternal perspective. Now, I know what you're wondering, because I was wondering all week too. Okay, but what's the reward? What is this reward, crown, prize that Paul and Jesus are talking about? I mean, is it like a Lamborghini that I've never seen before? Is it a bigger house on the best golf course in heaven? Well, you ready for this? I'm about to give you maybe the most insightful Bible thing that I've told you all year about this reward. You don't know what the reward is? I don't know. I don't know. Bible doesn't tell us. And I think that's intentional. I think it's because the motive is not about gaining some reward, but pursuing the Father. I don't know what it is. I have a theory. Can I give you Nate's theory? All right, so this is not Bible. This is my theory. I think when we get to heaven and we have this apodidomai payback ceremony, I don't think the reward is gonna be a better, crown in heaven with more jewels. I don't think it's gonna be a bigger mansion in heaven than your neighbor. Like, who's gonna care about that when you're standing in the majesty and the glory of God? I think that the reward ceremony, there's gonna be this moment in heaven where God, for the very first time, is gonna peel back the curtain of eternity. And for the very first time, you and I are gonna see every single person who is in heaven by the way that you lived your life. Yeah, because isn't that what matters the most? You're one. And I think you're gonna have a moment where you're gonna be so overwhelmed because you didn't realize that those conversations actually led to salvation, and those seeds that you planted and that money you gave to that church at that one time led to that thing that led to that person. I think we're gonna be so overwhelmed by the greatest reward of people. And so today, that's what we're doing. We're running for the one. So whatever this reward is, God, I'm gonna receive it in faith. Today, let's finish the race. Let's finish the race. Here's how this is gonna look on your seat. You receive two things on your way in today. One is just a For the One bracelet. This is a gift to you. I hope you wear it. I hope you're praying about your one more. We got Christmas services coming up. Maybe you're gonna invite that person to come with you. But that's why we're giving today For the One. Now, this Kingdom Builders commitment card, I'd love to just walk you through it one time real quick. There's kind of two ways that you can think about your end of year final lap offering. The first box would be you giving a one-time gift today. or maybe you've already given the gift and you can check the box and let us know. But the second box is for you to make a 3-month commitment while we're doing construction in this room. So we're gonna keep the Kingdom Builders option open for you to continue to give. Maybe you've got a Q1 bonus or a tax refund, or you wanna spread it out over 2 tax calendar years, whatever that might look like. If that's you, you add A and B, and that would be your final year, your final lap total. Now, if you've already given, I know many of you have already kind of given online, I still want you to participate in this moment. Just indicate what you've already given, and then just put it, say duplicate, or I've already given on the card, so that you can still move in this room. Even if you're planning on giving the offering before the end of the year, sometime in between there, this is our opportunity to finish strong. So if you're married, I encourage you, I'm gonna give you about 60 seconds, minute and a half, talk together, pray together over this card. If you're by yourself today, you're single, or you're just by yourself, take some time, pray with the Lord. Have a moment, ask the Lord, what is it that you want me to give for the one? And then I'll come back after about a minute and I'll explain what we're gonna do with these cards.